step back into the bustling streets of colonial America in the 1700s. Imagine the sound of horse hooves on cobblestones, the warm glow of lanterns, and the inviting sign of a tavern swinging in the wind. Colonial taverns were not only places to drink ale but also important community centers where travelers rested, news was shared, and hearty meals were enjoyed. Inside, you'd find long wooden tables, the smell of smoke from the hearth, and a menu that reflected both old-world traditions and new-world resources. Let's uncover 25 amazing foods that hungry colonists might have enjoyed at these taverns. 1. Cornbread. Corn was the backbone of colonial diets, and taverns often served cornbread baked fresh in iron skillets. Sweetened with molasses or eaten plain, it paired well with soups and stews. 2. Salted pork. Pork was one of the most common meats. Salted or smoked, it lasted for months and could be boiled or fried before serving. 3. Johnny cakes. These were flat cakes made from cornmeal, water, and a bit of salt, cooked on a griddle. Travelers often ate them on the road, but taverns gave them a warm, crispy edge. 4. Stewed oysters. Oysters were abundant along the Atlantic coast. Colonists loved them in stews with cream, butter, and herbs, a true tavern delicacy. 5. Roast venison. When hunters supplied fresh game, taverns roasted venison over an open fire, serving it with root vegetables. 6. Ale. Braised beef. Colonial taverns brewed their own beer, and beef cooked slowly in ale became a favorite hearty dish. 7. Clam chowder. This New England classic had already taken root in the 1700s, made with clams, onions, salt pork, and hardtack. 8. Brown bread. Dense, dark bread made with rye, wheat, and cornmeal was common in taverns. It was hearty enough to fill a traveler's stomach. 9. Hasty pudding. Not a dessert pudding, but a hot cornmeal mush eaten with milk, honey, or molasses. 10. Chicken pie. Taverns often served savory pies filled with chicken, vegetables, and gravy, a dish influenced by English cooking. 11. Apple pie. Yes, as American as apple pie started early. Apples grew easily, and tavern kitchens used them in pies, crisps, and puddings. 12. Peas porridge. A thick soup made from dried peas, flavored with ham bones or herbs, was a cheap but filling tavern staple. 13. Pickled vegetables. Cabbage, cucumbers, and onions were often preserved in vinegar, offering a sharp contrast to heavy meats. 14. Indian pudding. A colonial dessert made with cornmeal, milk, molasses, and spices, slowly baked until thick and sweet. 15. Roast goose. On special occasions, taverns served roast goose with sage and onions, a tradition carried from Europe. 16. Fish cakes. Salt cod or fresh fish was mixed with potatoes and fried into patties. 17. Mutton stew. Sheep were raised in many colonies, and taverns simmered mutton with onions and carrots for a warming meal. 18. Sausages. Homemade sausages spiced with sage and pepper were fried or boiled and served with bread. 19. Cider. Hard cider was one of the most common drinks, made from local apples and poured freely in taverns. 20. Cheese. Colonists made farmhouse cheeses, often sharp and crumbly, served with bread and ale. 21. Molasses cake. Molasses was cheaper than sugar, so taverns baked dense cakes flavored with nutmeg or ginger. 22. Stewed pumpkins. Pumpkin wasn't just for pies, it was boiled, mashed, and flavored with butter and spices. 23. Beef and kidney pie. Imported from England, this savory pie was hearty enough to satisfy any traveler. 24. Butter biscuits. Soft, buttery biscuits were baked fresh and eaten with jam or honey. 25. Ale and rum punch. Finally, no tavern meal was complete without drink. Ale was most common, but rum punch, made with imported Caribbean rum, sugar, and citrus, was a tavern favorite. Life in the tavern. Meals in colonial taverns were often communal. Strangers might sit together at long tables, sharing stew from the same pot. A roaring fire kept the room warm, and the tavern keeper's wife or daughters often did the cooking. Food was hearty, simple, and filling, meant to nourish travelers, not impress them. But in every bite of cornbread or sip of cider was the taste of a young America, blending English tradition with New World abundance. So next time you hear the word tavern, don't just think of ale. Think of oyster stews, molasses cakes, and steaming bowls of peas porridge. These foods tell the story of resilience, adaptation, and community in the 1700s.